Okay, so this evening we're going to take a look at crosswind landings and takeoffs with a Cessna 152 at Booker Airfield. So at the moment I am pointing down the runway, and you can see on the compass I'm pointing about 240 degrees. So a crosswind would be from 150 degrees, for example. So if we go and look at the weather menu in Flight Simulator, I've got wind from 155 degrees blowing at 20 knots. So it should be coming from 150 across us on the runway at 20 knots. So let's go and take off. So the tail is trying to go to the right, which is what you'd expect. So I'm having to steer right to balance it. So the plane is trying to weather vane into the wind. The wind is coming from our left, and the wind has got under the left wing and lifted us into the air, and you can see us, we're being pushed sideways. So if I hold the runway direction, we're going sideways, look, across the airfield. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just let us drift a little way, and then we'll turn back round and come back in on the same runway. So we're going into the wind. This is much safer than going with the wind. If I try and fly downwind in such strong wind, I will stall because we won't have the air over the wings. So if I point runway direction, you can see we're going sideways. So I'm going to have to turn into the runway direction. So we've got a 20 knot wind. Okay, so it's just a question of crabbing on your way down the runway. Now as soon as you touch the floor, the plane's going to try and skitter off to the right. So you have to hold it against it. Okay, so we just got the brakes on. And let's turn around. And let's go again. We're going to turn the wind up. So let's double it. Let's go for 40 knots and see what happens. So we get the airplane ready. We put the wheel brakes on. We're going to go back to the weather menu, and we're going to up the speed of the wind to 40 knots. So 39.7 is close enough. Okay, let's see what happens. So off the wheel brakes, full throttle. So I'm having to give it a boot full of right rudder this time. So if I just try and hold the plane straight to the runway direction to stop it weather vaning, you can see we're being pushed crazily across the airfield. So I'm going to let that happen until we're out over the trees over here. Then I'm going to turn into the wind. The wind is coming from our left, remember. It would be suicide to turn right because I would stall, because I will essentially be doing zero airspeed with the air for a few seconds at least. So now we're going to come into the wind. So as I get around to 150 degrees, we could probably make the plane hover. Let's try it. So we're heading into the wind. We're not going anywhere fast, are we? So let's let the plane drift with the wind back towards the runway. And let's get the nose back round towards the runway. We've overshot slightly. Can't actually see where we're going because the crab angle is so vicious. And the wind is keeping us aloft. That's the major problem. So we're almost going to have to force the plane down. And whoa, and we almost crashed. The wind has got underneath the right wing, and yeah, it's forced the nose into the ground. So in the real world that would have smashed the propeller up. So the wind has got underneath the propeller. So the quick way out of that is just to use slew to put the plane back on its feet. So let's see what this can actually handle. So let's go back into the wind menu and turn the wind up to 60 knots, and we'll see. You can hear it now. So let's go for it. I wonder if I can actually hold it in a straight line on the runway. It doesn't want to do it, does it? And the wind has got under that wing and has lifted us into the air. Now look at our ground speed and look at the airspeed on the airspeed indicator. We're doing 80 knots according to the airspeed indicator, and we're obviously not doing 80 knots, doing about 30 or 40. So we'll fly out. I'll turn right to, whoa, even the rudder is having a job turning the plane across the wind. It doesn't want to do it, look, and we're being pushed sideways alarmingly. So let's turn back into the wind. We want 150 or thereabouts. So let's have a look at the compass. And let's have a look out the window as we're doing it. Whoa, 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 whoa. So I'm going to put the flaps down as well. This should be quite comical. We should be able to go backwards. And we're at a standstill. Look at our shadow on the ground. We're at the point of stalling, but we're going backwards. So I wonder if we can do a vertical landing. Let's try and put it in this field and just go down vertically. If we turn slightly to the left, with a bit of judgment, we might be able to get it onto the runway. That's the stall warning you can hear pretty much all the time. So the plane, as soon as we try and level up, the plane is weathercocking back into the wind. It really doesn't want to go across wind. And we've crashed. There you go. Anyway, so there you go. There's some crazy crosswind antics in the Cessna 152, of which I've written 2 of them off now. I haven't got damage on, obviously, so we could get away with this. But there you go. So it gives you some idea of dealing with crosswinds. Obviously, the first example was a half decent one, but then we really pushed it to the limit to see, what is possible. Okay, I think that will do.